hands where I can see them.
What's this about?
Don't move.
I'm on my own porch now.
I said don't move.
Okay.
Papers. Now.
Hey, buddy, let's go talk to your mom. Open the door.
No, don't take my
You're not in charge here. Turn around.
Okay, she's not here. My wife is not here, please.
ICE agents arrested a father outside his home, then brought his 5-year-old child to the front door to pressure the child's mother into surrendering. When the father begged them not to involve his son, agents blocked him and escalated the situation anyway. What you just saw was a child used as leverage during an immigration arrest. This was not routine enforcement. It was a sequence of choices made in real time, each one escalating the last. A father was detained outside his home, and instead of stopping there, agents brought his 5-year-old child into their arrest. This officer made a catastrophic mistake, one that would expose the operation, trigger legal action, unravel careers. The father you see in that footage is Marcus Reed, 34 years old. He works as a licensed commercial electrician, a union member, and the primary provider for his family. Marcus has over 12 years in the trade, holds multiple state safety certifications, and has completed hundreds of residential and municipal jobs without a single complaint or citation. He pays taxes, mentors apprentices through his local union chapter, and has passed every required background check to work on public contracts. In his community, he's known as reliable, calm under pressure, and trusted, exactly the kind of person the system claims it targets least. The authority behind this arrest wasn't a rogue individual acting alone. It was U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, an agency that, in recent years, has expanded its footprint through aggressive street-level operations, civil detentions without warrants, and tactics that blur the line between immigration enforcement and criminal policing. ICE officers operate under broad discretion, often shielded by internal review systems that rarely result in discipline. Public oversight records and civil rights reports show hundreds of complaints filed against ICE each year, ranging from unlawful detention and excessive force to coercion involving family members. The overwhelming majority of these complaints are closed without findings of wrongdoing. Terminations are rare. Criminal referrals are rarer still. This institutional insulation matters because when complaints pile up but consequences don't follow, behavior escalates. Officers learn where the boundaries really are, not on paper, but in practice. Supervisory approval is implied, legal risk is deferred, accountability becomes abstract. In this climate, involving a child in an arrest doesn't happen by accident. It happens in a system that has normalized pressure tactics, rewarded speed over restraint, and relied on internal protection to absorb the fallout until a camera captures something clear to ignore. At approximately 7:40 a.m., two ICE agents arrive in an unmarked vehicle on a quiet residential street. They park directly in front of the house. No warrant is visible. No request is made to speak through the door. The agents step out wearing jackets marked ICE and walk straight toward the porch. Marcus Reed opens the front door and steps outside. He is barefoot, wearing casual clothes. He does not try to leave. He does not raise his voice. He stays on his own porch. The first agent immediately closes the distance, standing inches from him. Hands where I can see them. Don't move. Marcus raises his hand slowly, palms open. His movements are careful and deliberate. This is the posture of someone who understands how quickly a routine encounter could become dangerous. When you are black and confronted by armed officers, what's this about? I'm on my own porch. The agent cuts him off. No explanation. No reason given. Papers. Now, Marcus tries again, nodding slightly toward the door behind him. At that moment, the second agent moves past Marcus and knocks hard on the door. The knock is sharp and intentional. It is not meant for the adult inside. It is meant to draw someone out. A 5-year-old black boy appears in the doorway. He is half hidden by the doorframe, still inside the house. He looks confused. "Hey buddy," the second agent says, lowering his voice. "Let's go talk to your mom." Open the door. Inside the house, the mother is hiding. She is pregnant. She stays silent, out of sight, afraid that if she shows herself she will also be taken. She hears everything through the thin walls, the knock, the raised voices. Her child's footsteps near the door and does not move. The child looks back inside the house. There is no response. His mother does not answer. She cannot. She is pregnant and terrified that stepping forward will mean detention too. Marcus reacts immediately. No, Don't take my son. Please. He takes one step forward. His hands are still raised. The first agent moves into his space and blocks him, forcing him back. Marcus does not touch the agent. He does not resist. You're not in charge here. Turn around. She's not here. Please, Marcus says, trying to protect the woman hiding inside, trying to keep the attention off her. He is ignored. The child hesitates. He looks inside the house again. He does not understand why his mother is not coming. He does not understand why strangers are talking to him like this. The second agent reaches out and takes the child by the wrist. The grip is firm and controlled. Calm. This is not panic. This is procedure. Marcus watches. His shoulders tense. His breathing becomes audible. He is still complying, still calm, still treated as a threat. The first agent reaches toward his belt or radio. Marcus is ordered to turn fully round. Handcuffs are applied behind his back. He does not fight. He does not pull away. He looks only at his son. Both father and child are led off the porch together. The child walks beside the agents. He is not offered another adult. He is not told where his mother is. He is detained because his father is detained, and because his mother is black, pregnant, and hiding inside in fear. No warrant is shown. No effort is made to locate a guardian other than the person being arrested. No concern is shown for the pregnant woman inside the house. This is not how white families are treated during enforcement actions. A white child would be told to stay inside. A white pregnant woman would be given space, not forced into hiding. Here, fear is used as a tactic because it works. Neighbors notice. Curtains shift. A car slows. No one intervenes. Marcus is placed into the vehicle. The child is placed inside as well. The front door remains open. Inside, a pregnant woman stays hidden, listening as her family is taken away. The entire encounter lasts only minutes. A father detained. A child detained with him. A pregnant mother forced into silence. This is not confusion. It is a pattern, one that treats black families as expendable in the pursuit of compliance. The injustice becomes undeniable the moment it is said out loud and dismissed anyway. As Marcus and his son are escorted off the porch, a neighbor steps onto the sidewalk with her phone raised. She is filming openly now. Why are you taking his kid? He didn't do anything. That's an American family. The agents do not answer. They do not slow down. One of them shifts his body to block the view, but they continue moving. Another neighbor speaks up, louder. He's a U.S. citizen. You can't just do this. Marcus hears it. His hands are cuffed behind his back. His son is walking beside him, trying to keep up. Marcus turns his head slightly and says the thing that changes everything. Not because it surprises anyone, but because it exposes the truth. I'm an American citizen. No one responds. This is the psychological break. Until this moment, Marcus has been treated like a suspect who might be able to talk his way back into dignity if he follows the rules closely enough. Calm voice, slow movements, no sudden gestures. The survival instincts black Americans learn early. By hearing his own citizenship spoken out loud and watching it mean nothing, forces the realization in full. His status does not protect him. ISIS spent years expanding street operations. Built on suspicion first and verification later, immigrants are stopped, questioned, detained, and pressured without warrants. Often through intimidation and family separation, those tactics have become normalized. And now they are being applied to Marcus too, not because he is undocumented, but because he is black and standing in the wrong place when authority decided to act. The neighbor filming keeps talking. You don't have a warrant. He's telling you he's a citizen. That's his child. An agent finally snaps back. Ma'am, step back. This is an ICE matter. That answer says everything. Citizenship is irrelevant. Explanation is unnecessary. Once labeled a target, Marcus is treated the same way ICE treats undocumented immigrants, assumed guilty, stripped of rights in practice if not on paper, and expected to comply silently. Marcus speaks again, his voice steady but flat. You'd never do this if I were white. No one denies it. This is not a misunderstanding. The officer's behavior follows a pattern documented for years, searching for violations, where none are visible, escalating minor encounters into detentions, and treating black presence as inherent risk. Former officers and civil rights advocates have named it repeatedly racial profiling reinforced by institutional protection. Marcus is placed against the vehicle. The door opens. His son is guided inside separately. The child looks back once. "Daddy, I'm here," Marcus says. "I'm right here." An officer orders him to stop talking. That command, "stop talking," is the final erasure, not of guilt or innocence, but of citizenship itself. Marcus is not being treated as an American protected by the Constitution. He is being processed as a problem. The vehicle doors close. The neighbor keeps filming. "This is wrong," she says again. He's a citizen. The video is uploaded within minutes. By nightfall, it has gone viral. Millions watch the same details on loop, a calm father stating his citizenship. A child detained anyway, officers ignoring witnesses, no warrant in sight. The shock ripples not because ICE abused power. Many immigrants have said that for years, but because this time the target is unmistakably American. Legal experts point out what the footage shows clearly. ICE tactics designed for immigration enforcement bleeding into the lives of black citizens. The same coercion, the same disregard, the same assumption that rights can be suspended on the spot. The next day, Marcus's wife speaks publicly. She stands in front of cameras, visibly pregnant. She explains why she hid inside the house. She explains that she was afraid ICE would take her to, citizen or not, afraid for her unborn child, afraid that stepping outside would make things worse. "They didn't care that we're Americans," she says. "They used my child to lure me and arrest me." Her statement lands hard because it connects to realities people are often told to separate: how ICE treats immigrants and how black Americans are treated by law enforcement. The video makes clear that the line between the two is thinner than many want to admit. Marcus's case explodes nationally because it reveals something uncomfortable. Citizenship does not guarantee protection when race determines suspicion. What happened on that porch is not an exception. It is the collision of two systems, immigration enforcement and racial profiling, operating exactly as designed. This time, there were witnesses. This time, there was video. And this time, the country could no longer pretend it was only happening to someone else. The shift does not begin with an apology. It begins with paperwork. Within 48 hours of the video going viral, the case is flagged and pulled from routine processing. A federal judge orders an immediate review, not a summary, not a memo, the full file. Bodycam footage, security camera video, detention logs, jurisdictional authority, warrant records. There is no warrant in the file. There is no signed authorization to detain a child. There is no legal basis for holding an American citizen under immigration enforcement authority. Inside the courthouse, senior officials sit in silence as the footage plays again, this time on a large screen. Pause frame by frame. The judge watches closely. He recognizes the pattern immediately, not just legally, but personally. The judge is of Latin origin. His parents were immigrants. He is a citizen by birth, a jurist by profession, and a product of the same system now under scrutiny. He has spent years presiding over immigration cases. He knows the tactics. He knows how often enforcement drifts into abuse when oversight is weak. He asks one question first. Under what authority was the child detained? No one answers immediately. An attorney clears his throat. The agents believe the child was necessary too. The judge cuts him off. Necessary to what? To pressure the mother. The silence returns. He flips through the file again. "This is an ICE operation," he says, looking up. "Why is a U.S. citizen being processed like an undocumented detainee?" There is no good answer because there is no legal one. What becomes clear very quickly is not just misconduct, but liability, jurisdictional overreach, policy failure. ICE agents operating as if constitutional limits do not apply when the people in front of them are black. The judge orders the immediate release of Marcus Reed and his family. "Release them today," he says. "Not tomorrow. Today." The order is entered on the record. In the holding facility, Marcus is uncuffed without explanation. His son is brought to him. The child clings to his leg. No apology is offered. A guard mutters that it's out of our hands now. That phrase, "out of our hands," says everything about how responsibility disappears at every level until a judge forces it back into existence. Hours later, Marcus, his son, and his pregnant wife walk out together. But the turning point is not the release. It is what follows. The judge calls a hearing. He does not limit it to the facts of this case. He widens the scope deliberately. This court will not ignore what this represents, he says from the bench. This is not an isolated error. This is a pattern. He speaks plainly. He speaks carefully. But there is anger underneath it. He references the current wave of deportations, how aggressive enforcement has normalized coercion, how family separation has been treated as acceptable leverage, how constitutional protections are applied unevenly depending on race. When immigration tactics are used on citizens, he says, "We have crossed a line that should alarm everyone." He looks directly at the government attorneys. This family was treated as deportable because they were black, he says, not because they were undocumented. No one objects. The courtroom is quiet. He continues, "I am the child of immigrants," he says. "My parents came to this country seeking protection under the law." That law does not disappear at a front porch. It does not disappear because officers are impatient. And it certainly does not disappear when the person standing there is black. He orders the preservation of all footage. He orders an internal review. He refers the case for civil liability assessment. He signals that suppression of evidence will not be tolerated. Outside the courtroom, reporters gather. Civil rights attorneys speak openly now. "This is what happens when ICE tactics go unchecked," one says. "They don't stop at immigrants. They spill over." The judge's ruling becomes a reference point almost immediately. Legal analysts note the language. Advocacy groups circulate excerpts. It is cited not just as a release order, but as a warning. Inside ICE, emails circulate marked urgent. Supervisors ask how this happened. Risk management teams calculate exposure. The phrase citizen detention appears repeatedly. Marcus's treatment is now officially recognized for what it was: racial profiling combined with unlawful enforcement. The court does not soften the language. It does not excuse intent. It does not accept ignorance as a defense. And for the first time since that morning on the porch, the power dynamic reverses. The institution that ignored witnesses, ignored citizenship, and ignored a child is now forced to answer, on the record, for why being black was enough to strip a family of their rights. The lawsuit is filed within weeks. It names ICE, supervising officers, and the Department of Homeland Security. The complaint does not rely on rhetoric. It relies on footage, timelines, and sworn testimony. It describes an American citizen detained without cause, a child taken alongside him without legal authority, and a pregnant woman forced into hiding out of fear. The legal argument is simple: constitutional violations compounded by racial profiling. At the first hearing, government attorneys attempt to contain the damage. This was an isolated incident. One of them says, "There was no intent to violate rights." The judge does not accept that framing. Intent is not the standard. He replies, "Impact is." During discovery, internal ICE records are subpoenaed. What they reveal is not chaos, but pattern. Complaints involving black individuals during street-level immigration operations appear again and again. Most were closed internally. Few resulted in discipline. None triggered structural reform. One internal report notes that officers are encouraged to maintain pressure to ensure compliance. There is no guidance on what happens when the person targeted is a citizen. There is no safeguard for children present during enforcement actions. That omission becomes central to the case. Marcus testifies calmly. He describes stating his citizenship and watching it be ignored. He describes being told to stop talking while his son was led away beside him. "I realized in that moment," he says, "that I wasn't being treated as an American. I was being treated as a problem." His wife testifies next. She describes hiding inside the house while pregnant, listening to her child's voice, afraid that stepping outside would mean detention too. "I stayed quiet because I thought silence was safer than being seen," she tells the court. The footage is played in full. Jurors watch the officers escalate. They watch witnesses object. They watch a child being guided away without explanation. There is no warrant shown. There is no legal justification offered. Before the case reaches trial, the government moves to settle. The settlement is finalized and made public. $1.85 million total, $750,000 for unlawful detention and violation of Marcus Reed's constitutional rights, $600,000 for emotional distress and psychological harm suffered by the child, $300,000 for reckless endangerment and trauma inflicted on a pregnant mother, $200,000 for legal fees and court costs. There is no admission of wrongdoing. There is no non-disclosure agreement. That matters. In a written statement, ADHS spokesperson says the settlement resolves procedural concerns. The family's attorney responds directly. "This resolves accountability," he says. The concern was never procedural. It was racial. Individual consequences followed quietly. The lead agent is removed from field operations pending review. His record shows prior complaints involving black civilians during enforcement actions. They had been labeled unsubstantiated. They are reopened. A second agent is reassigned out of street enforcement. Supervisors involved in approving the operation are formally reprimanded. No press conference is held. No apology is issued. But inside ICE, the response is immediate. New directives are circulated restricting child involvement during arrests. Officers are reminded explicitly that citizenship claims must be verified before detention. Supervisory approval is now required for any operation involving a family residence. These changes do not come from moral reckoning. They come from liability. Internally, the case is referred to as the Reed matter, not as injustice, as exposure. Civil rights groups seize on the ruling. Legal scholars cite it. Advocates point out what the footage made impossible to deny: immigration enforcement tactics. Once normalized against immigrants, do not stop there. They bleed into the lives of black Americans, citizen or not. Marcus speaks once more after the settlement. "I shouldn't have had to prove I belong here," he says. "I was born here." His wife stands beside him. "They treated us like we were disposable," she adds. Like our rights were optional, the case becomes precedent. It appears in future filings. It is referenced whenever agencies argue urgency justifies escalation, and it leaves behind a record the government cannot erase: a black American family detained like foreigners, a child used as leverage, and a system forced, through law, not conscience, to pay for what it did. They won not because the system worked as intended, but because it failed in public. This story is meant to generate awareness. It proves that when unchecked power meets racial bias, families, not criminals, pay the price. In recent years, ICE has faced hundreds of formal complaints annually related to excessive force, unlawful detention, and coercive tactics, according to oversight reviews by the Department of Homeland Security's Inspector General and civil rights organizations. Multiple investigations have found that disciplinary action is rare, even when use of force incidents involve children, U.S. citizens, or clear violations of agency policy. What happened to this family is not an anomaly. It fits a documented pattern of aggressive enforcement where accountability often comes only after public exposure. So here are the questions we need to ask. How many similar cases never make it to camera? How often are citizens treated as deportable simply because of the color of their skin? And how far can enforcement agencies go before constitutional rights stop meaning anything at all? Do you know any organizations that work to protect the rights of immigrants in the United States, legal aid groups, community defense networks, or civil rights coalitions? Share them in the comments. Let's support those working to defend dignity, due process, and basic human rights. Leave your thoughts below. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.